Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to look at 1 Samuel 4 and 5. We're going to look at 6 things. Well, we're watching the implosion of the family of Eli. His sons Hophni and Phinehas were very disobedient and evil, and Eli, in God's mind, did not do enough. So they're having the punishment. Also, the nation of Israel is at war with the Philistines, and they are losing badly. Okay, they take the army out and they get slaughtered. So they go, and they have an idea, which is number 2, they're going to take the Ark of the Covenant into battle with them. They didn't do it before, they're going to do it now. And if you remember, some of the crucial battles before the Ark of the Covenant went. And so the people, well, if the Ark of the Covenant goes, we're going to be victorious. Well, it isn't the Ark of the Covenant itself that matters. It's that God was there before, and they were listening to what he said. And in this case, they don't even ask God. They just take the ark and go. Well, that's a recipe for disaster, and we see that. Number 3, Israel loses the battle and the Ark of the Covenant. Oh my goodness, what a blow, okay? So they think they're going to win, they lose, and the Ark of the Covenant is taken by the Philistines as a trophy. And they scatter. Hophni and Phinehas are killed, just as God says. Well, number 4, the news gets around. Hophni and Phinehas' wife gets thrown into labor, and she names the kid Ichabod, which is 1, not that great, but 2, its meaning is that there is no glory in Israel. The Ark of the Covenant's been taken, God has left us. Ichabod. Well, when Eli hears the news about not his sons dying, but the Ark of the Covenant getting taken, he falls backwards off of his chair and breaks his neck because he's this fat man and old. He's 98 years old, and he breaks his neck. Just as God said he would have punishment, so he does. Now, what about the ark? Well, number 5, the question remains, is God sovereign outside of the nation of Israel? Is there some other God who's more powerful, who we should be worshiping instead of God? I mean, worship God in Israel. But what if you're outside of Israel? What should you do? Well, God really shows his power and his reach. He is sovereign outside of Israel. Just ask the Philistines. They trot the Ark of the Covenant off to their god Dagon's house and put the Ark in there as a trophy. Look what Dagon did. Well, in the morning, Dagon is flat on his face. Remember, he's an idol. He's flat on his face in front of the Ark. Oh, hope nobody saw that, and they put him back up. Well, the next day, he's fallen again. Okay, he breaks his head off. His hands get broken off, meaning that Yahweh is way more powerful than Dagon. In fact, Dagon can't do anything to protect himself because he's not real. He's not there. He's not something to be worshipped, only Yahweh. But that's not it. Okay, that's just the idol battle with God, which God easily wins because there's no power there. But then number 6, the Philistine people themselves start getting tumors. The translation says they get tumors in their secret parts. Very painful. Oh my goodness. So they're having all these pains and all these things happening because the Ark of the Covenant is among the Philistine camp. God is showing Yahweh, the real God, that he's the true God. Okay? Don't worship anyone else. Worship God only, and it's going to be better for you. So they want to send it away from where the house of God is down to Ekron. Well, in Ekron, they decide, we don't want that coming here. Don't bring it here. And so there's this fight amongst the people, what they're going to do with this Ark of the Covenant, because it's killing people, literally, to have the Ark amongst them. So the next time you feel like you can just trot into God's presence, unpure, unclean, just remember this story. Yikes. He is a holy God, and we need to treat him that way. So, let's check it out. It's 1 Samuel chapter 4. And the word of Samuel came to all Israel. And Israel went out against the Philistines into battle and pitched at Ebenezer. That's a place where they set up a monument to God before. So they think, we're in our place that we were before, we're going to win. And the Philistines pitched in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. When they joined the battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines, and they slew the army, about 4,000 men. And when the people were coming to the camp, the elders of Israel said, Wherefore hath the Lord smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us fetch the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemies. So the people sent to Shiloh, that they might bring forth the ark and the covenant of the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth between the cherubim. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. And when the ark of the covenant came into camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What meaneth this noise of the great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? They understood that the ark of the Lord was come into the camp, and the Philistines were afraid. And rightly so, if God's presence were there. But it isn't. And remember, they just took it and went. And wow, what a great shout that the earth is trembling. The Philistines hear it all the way in their camp, and they're scared. For they said, God is coming into the camp. And they said, Woe unto us, for there hath not been such a thing heretofore. Woe unto us, for who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Be strong, and quit yourself like men, O ye Philistines, that you will not be the servant unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves and fight like men. So, let's go. They're like hyping themselves up, getting ready for this fight. Otherwise, we're going to be slaves. Let's go out and get them. We know the story about all the things that happened in Egypt and the wilderness. This is a powerful God, so we've got to be ready. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten. And they fled every man to his tent, and there was a very great slaughter. And there fell of Israel 30,000 footmen. That's a costly mistake. And the ark of God was taken, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were slain. And there ran a man of Benjamin out of the army, and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes rent, and with earth upon his head. And he said unto him, Lo, Eli sat by the seat of the wayside, watching, and his heart trembled for the ark of God. And the man came unto the city and told it, and all the city cried out. And when Eli heard the noise of the crying, he said, What meaneth the noise of this tumult? And the man came hastily and told Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, so he could not see. And when the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled out of the army, he said, What is there? What is done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel fled before the Philistines, and there hath been also a great slaughter among the people. Thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. And it came to pass, when he made mention of the ark of God, not his sons, because he already knew God promised him his sons would die. When he mentioned the ark of God, he fell off from the seat backwards by the side of the gate, and brake his neck, and he died, because he was an old man and heavy. And he judged Israel 40 years. There you go. He's maybe the last of the judges there. We'll see. And his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with child, near to be delivered, and she heard the tidings that the ark of the Lord was taken. And her father-in-law and her husband were dead. She bowed herself and travailed, for her pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the women that stood by her said, Fear not, for thou hast borne a son. She answered not, neither did she regard it. She named the child Ichabod, saying that this is the glory departed from Israel, because the ark of God was taken, and because her father-in-law and her husband. And she said, The glory is departed from Israel, for the ark is taken. So she dies, her husband and brother-in-law die, and Eli dies, and the ark is taken. Horrible day. Let's name the kid Ichabod. Chapter 5. And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. And when the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon, and they set it by Dagon. And when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen on his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him up in his place again. And when they arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen on his face. Before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both palms of his hands were cut off on the threshing hold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. That's judgment. Therefore neither the priest of Dagon nor he that came unto Dagon's house tread on the threshold in Ashdod till this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them in Ashdod, and he destroyed them and smote them with emerods, tumors, even Ashdod and the coast thereof. And when the men of Ashdod saw it was so, they said, the ark of the God shall not abide before us, for his hand is sore upon us and upon Dagon our God. They sent therefore and Gath. Wouldn't you at that point want to switch? Hey, there's this more powerful God out there. Ours can't fight for himself, and he's not helping us. Shouldn't we serve this powerful God? Just a thought. Therefore they sent and gathered all the lords of the Philistines, and said, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? They answered, let the ark of the God be carried about unto Gath. They carried the ark of God of Israel about hither. And then it was so, that after they had carried it, that the hand of the Lord was against that city, and a very great destruction. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emerods in their secret parts, more tumors, but in uncomfortable places. Therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron. And it came to pass, as the ark of God came to Ekron, the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of the God of Israel to us, and slay us, our people. So they sent and gathered together all the lord of the Philistines, and said, send away the ark of God from Israel, and let it go to its own place, that it slay us not, and our people. For there was deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there, and the men that died were not smitten with the emerods. And the cry went up to the city of heaven. So they're even having death amongst them, not just the tumors. Well, pretty crazy. It shows that God is the most powerful God. Doesn't matter if it's in Israel or without. And even the Philistines recognize it there. Well, how's it going to end? We'll have to catch you next time.